All right, in tonight's Biz Blitz, be careful what you wish for. As the NFL faces trouble, now the NBA is addressing player misconduct off the court, or trying to, with conduct codes expanding. All types of businesses reacting. I understand the NHL is into this. Now, that to me would be a no-brainer, but anyway, that's just me. But then think about this, folks. If these other alphabet soup sports agencies are doing that, isn't it just a matter of time before it permeates the American workplace? Is that a good or a bad thing? Back with Hadley and Jonas and Cheryl. Hadley, what do you think? Hadley, is this a good idea?
You know, I don't think conduct codes are necessarily anything new. They should be something that employers are free to negotiate with their workers depending on the job, depending on the work. In the case of these sports associations, a lot of these athletes are stars, very well-known, very public entities with a lot of influence, and a greater measure of influence usually comes with a greater measure of accountability. So I don't blame these organizations for cracking down. All
right, well, some of them are commonsensical, right, Cheryl? But, I mean, you, as talent here, I mean, we have conduct clauses.
Well, there's a morality clause in my contract. I don't know about yours.
Well, I have the same thing. But I don't need it written down. I know how to behave.
Maybe I do.
Maybe you don't.
But I will tell you this. You know what? Look, there's cameras everywhere. And I don't think that it's going to... Any company everywhere.
Really?
Everywhere. And I have to tell you this, I don't think that it's going to be companies or organizations that are going to have to enforce morality. It's going to be public outcry. We're seeing that with the NFL. I think we're going to see that more and more with YouTube, with Facebook, and everything else.
In other words, something you do off air or off hours, do you think that's fair, that you should be judged by that, as has happened with a lot of these players?
It doesn't matter if I think it's fair or not. It's going to happen.
Well, I agree with
it.
I agree. Jonas, the difference is I can understand that if you're beating a spouse or if you're abusing your kid, but what if you're just getting drunk on a Friday night at a bar? This is a typical weekend for you, I know. But you know what I'm saying? And I'm kidding aside, then why should you be judged on that behavior when otherwise your behavior and input here during the week is brilliant?
Well, it's a good, first of all, almost everybody's posted, especially young people, on the internet that taken to its extreme would violate some code of their office and theoretically could get fired for. I'm not saying look through my files, but I'm just saying that would be there. What I'm saying is I'm not sure the employer...
Could you do a quick search?
I don't know if the employer is supposed to be... They're not the criminal justice system. We don't fire people based on the shame of the public. I don't want to stand.
We do now. I think to Cheryl's point, we do now.
How well someone works is how they get hired or fired in a company. And if you start doing this, and all these people, you create actually a culture of poor people who can't get jobs because they had a criminal record that they already served prison time for, and now they can't work.
But what if it's not a criminal record? What if it's the case of this PR guy at Walmart recently who doctored his resume, said he graduated when he didn't graduate? I think went to the University of Delaware. Never finished there, never went. I don't know. The whole thing was a lie. But he himself, his work at Walmart, was doing an okay job. Comes back to bite you. A lie is a lie. Misrepresentation is a misrepresentation, Hadley. But is that fair or right? Or is that just the way the world's going?
I totally hear what my colleagues, Jonas, are saying. You know, I understand that employers can't be the morality police, but what employees do often reflects upon the employer. And in the case of this guy who worked for Walmart, his job, his role within the company is to be a spokesperson, and Walmart wants their spokesperson to be a trustworthy voice. If people can't trust him because he has this history of falsifying something in his resume, then I think it's totally within Walmart's purview to say you're not right for this position.
Companies, though, aren't always going to be able to catch their employees doing everything. For instance, I raid Neil's refrigerator every Friday night, and he's never figured it out.
Well, because there's nothing in there by the time you get to it. So nice try. But this is just the way of the world, I guess.
It is definitely the way it's going. Again, there's definitely cases where employers should fire employees. I just
But do you think the NFL and all this other stuff has made it now such that we're going to have our antennae up for anything that might be risque?
I'm worried about too many employees being blacklisted from jobs because of extracurricular improprieties, things they did wrong. I mean, that should be something to deal with the criminal justice system. If the employer should like you or not as a worker. That doesn't mean if you got a line employee, you want trustworthy PR people, so you fire them. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do that. But to create a whole bunch of people who can't work because of punishments they already got in the criminal justice system, I think is unfair as well.
People forgive and forget, though.
I would apply to say, look, if you're not in jail, I'm not sure you shouldn't be allowed to work.
All right, Hadley?
I think, another point is people forgive and forget and move on. Let's remember Tiger Woods. Here's an example of somebody who got in trouble, got a lot of negative media attention for his behavior off of the golf course, and yet now he's playing again. So there are cases where people come back.
He's not playing well, but I digress.
No,
all right,
that's
guys,
true. That's true.
I want to thank you all. When we come back, what is the deal with my